What's up, Chiefs fans? Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jace Andrews, and on today's show, we're going to be answering your questions that you have sent in to us. And the first one comes from my man, J.J. Hackett, who sent in a $5 super chat, who is, of course, going to be our first question for his legendary donation to the Chiefs Report. He says, should the Chiefs trade for Marquise Brown because he is a speedy wide receiver and he has speed like Tyreek Hill? Well, JJ, I love that you brought that up because guess what? Not only does he have speed like Tyreek Hill, he has speed better than Tyreek Hill. I looked up there 40 times. Marquise Brown has a 4.27 40. Tyreek Hill, 4.29. Now, I know that was probably the 40th time this past year for Tyreek Hill, but guess what? Marquise Brown is faster than Tyreek Hill. Marquise Brown's the new Tyreek Hill, right? That's how it is. That's all I'll say. I love Marquise Brown. I think he would fit great with the Chiefs offense, and I really, really want him on this team. I'm just so concerned that Brett Veach is going to sit on his hands again and be an absolute wimp and not pick up anybody. That's my concern, but I 100% agree with you. If the Chiefs get a receiver, the first option should be Marquise Brown. The second question of the day we're going to get from Tony Fuentes, a legendary member of the Chiefs Report, says, are we ready to sign Frank Clark, or is it not necessary? I don't know if it's necessarily necessary. My bad there. If it's necessary, but I would say it's going to help out this team for the simple fact of, guess what? It gets you more depth on that defensive line. And I've mentioned it. I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention it every time someone brings up Frank Clark. And I'm sorry if it gets old. But he may help keeping Chris Jones in this upcoming season. They're best friends. And who doesn't want to keep playing with their best friend? Chris Jones may actually stay with the Chiefs next year for a little bit of a pay cut. We'll have to see, though. But I don't think it's necessary. Definitely would be a good option, though. We got DJ Dale Webb coming in here from a question saying, trade for JuJu. Jeez, it's the return of everybody. I swear, if the Chiefs somehow end up the season with JuJu, Mecole Hardman, and Frank Clark, I don't know what the league would do. The Chiefs just finesse the entirety of the league. I don't know if JuJu's the correct option just for the simple fact that he's not good in New England, and there was a report before the season that his knee could explode at any moment. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want a guy whose knee could explode. I don't even know what that means, but I don't think it's worth it to trade for him. If you're going to go for any wide receiver on the Patriots, why not try for Kendrick Bourne? I like him a lot. He could fit in well with this offense, but I think JuJu could also do well. I just don't see that as a possibility. Let's get another question rolling here from Steve. Oh, how do we fix the wide receiver issue with no cap space? That's a problem. Yeah, that's the issue at hand is, well, guess what? They don't really have the cap space for that, bud. There's not really a way that the Chiefs can go out and pay somebody. Now, in terms of targets, there is a plethora of them. Rashee Rice has had the most, a rookie, which is exactly why we're talking about this right now, because there's no clear wide receiver one. The guy who has the most targets get drafted this year. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. There's trades that can be made. Marquise Brown, Darnell Mooney could both work out on this team, especially if you trade away a pick. And maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire, there's some money that's going to the other team that you won't have to worry about. It could work. Also, on top of which, Justin Watson with 17 targets, he may not play this weekend. Probably won't with that dislocated elbow. So that takes away another one of your wide receivers. This is your wide receiver targets, though, and I have to ask the question, is it going to be solved internally? Like, is Brett Veach going to say, no, you know what? Rashee Rice, Justin Ross, and Kadarius Toney, they just have a slow start. They're going to work out. Just give them some time. Well, then if you think that's going to happen, type I for internal fix. And if you think there's no way this team can be fixed without a trade, then type T for trade. Let me know what the Chiefs can do to solve their wide receiver issues. Maybe it's internally. I honestly think it's with a trade. Let's go to the next question from Carl Bailey saying, Bourne could get a lot of attention from defenses opening up the offense. I agree. I think it could be nice to grab him. Kendrick Bourne, I mean, overall, it's one of those things of, is he a guy that's going to be your ace? You're going to wide receiver one, your clear guy? No, but his speed, agility, he's going to take the eyes of the defense with him. So, although I don't think he's the first one that the Chiefs should target in terms of wide receivers, I do think he should be on that list. Why? Exactly your point. He is fast. He's going to get a lot of attention from defense, and he's going to run that deep route that, quite honest with you, I don't know who runs the deep routes right now. Rashee Rice runs the unders. Kadarius Toney runs the unders. Justin Watson, who is now injured, was the only one who ran really a deep route all year long. He had 2 passes that were above 20 yards, dropped one of them and dislocated his elbow. The other one he caught in an amazing fashion against the Vikings. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I think Bourne could definitely be a good option. Let's get this question in here from Nick Yates saying, trade Jawaun Taylor and a 3rd-round pick for Scary Terry and a 5th or restructure Jawaun Taylor's contract. So here's the problem with that. I would agree. I would love to have Scary Terry. Terry McLaurin would be awesome. The problem is the Commanders are good. The Commanders may not trade Terry McLaurin because they may actually be playoff bound. Now, I don't know if they're going to win the division because they're going to have to go through the Cowboys, but at the same time, who else is in there? The Giants? I mean, you can beat the Eagles. I think you can beat them. I don't think they're as good as they really have played, even though they've signed Julio Jones. Don't get me started on that. But I think that they're not going to trade. They're not going to trade him yet. I just don't think that it's really the option just yet. You know what is an option, though? PrizePicks. It's the easiest way to play daily fantasy sports, and it's the way that you should put some money on the Chiefs game this weekend, as it's the easiest way, again, to play DFS. It is going to take your viewing experience to the absolute next level. You can choose from a vast selection of sports and stat types not offered anywhere else, and you can even pick in-game projections not offered anywhere else, which include picking games at halves, quarters, periods, or more. With PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players. With pros and sharks, you just pick more or less than 2 to 6 on more. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Now, how do you play, you ask? Well, you just pick 2 players. You pick more or less on their PrizePicks projection, and then you can choose to either play flex or power play. Which flex, if you get 2 right out of the 3, you're still getting some money back. If you pick power play, you get all 3 right, you can get up to 25 times your money if you go all the way to 6 players. I like the 3 option, and I like the power play option, and that's what I'm going to do this Sunday when the Chiefs take on the Chargers. And if you aren't doing more, well, you aren't living. Patrick Mahomes is going for 300. Book it right now. I'm going more there. Pacheco, he's going for 70 on the ground. Book it. I'm going with more there. And then Kelsey, he's had a good game against the Broncos. He's going to be double covered. He's going to be looked at all game long. But guess what? I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift will be there. So, yeah, I'm going to take the more on that. Whenever his girl's in attendance, he's going to put on a show. I'm taking the more, 77.5. Yeah, I'm going more. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. A free $100. Again, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a $100 first deposit match. Shout out PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. Let's go back into some questions here, as Know It All has one saying, are the Chiefs Super Bowl ready with the current team? I like the question because I think it's one that needs to be talked about. Now, the thing that we're going to have to look at in this argument is what other teams are in the AFC that could challenge the Chiefs. So, well, I think there's 5 teams that could go there. There's Kansas City. There's Miami, who are both 5-1. There's Baltimore, who's 4-2. You have Jacksonville with 4-2, and then Buffalo, who is also 4-2. The top AFC teams right there. Who could beat the Chiefs? Maybe the Dolphins, but guess what? We're going to get a preview of that in just a couple of weeks, as they are going to take on each other in Germany in Week 9. We're going to have that for you. So, hey, that's going to be a preview of possibly the 2 best teams in the AFC. But guess what? Right now, you only got to focus on one thing, and that's the Los Angeles Chargers. Hit the like button today. We need 300 likes to beat the Chargers. If we don't get to 300, we're going to lose. I'm going to tell you that. We got to get 300 likes. It's free. It's quick. It's easy. It helps us out, and it helps the Chiefs out. We need 300 likes to beat the Chargers. Go smash that button. It's the easiest way to support us, and it's free. Who doesn't like free? Let's go back to some questions here. Lewis Cutbirth saying, who you going to release to sign Clark? Because they already have to make room for Omenihue. Yeah, I don't know. I got to be quite honest with you. In terms of who you release, it's probably a depth piece on the defensive line. Maybe go with a depth piece in the linebacker room, because if you have Nick Bolton and you have Drew Tranquill, well, technically, Clark is a linebacker by trade. Maybe you just release a depth linebacker piece, trade away a linebacker piece. There's a way you could do that. Maybe get some draft. You know what would be a good idea? You trade Clark away, You trade a depth linebacker piece to get a draft pick, and then you use that draft pick to go get Marquise Brown. That's how you do it. That's the way to be a GM. Brett Veach, listen to me. Do that. Sign Clark, trade away a linebacker spot to go get a pick, and then use that pick to get Marquise Brown and Darnell Mooney. I'm a genius. Let's go. Next question. DJ coming in. Trade for Russell Gage or Mike Evans? Okay, well, the option here is Russell Gage because Mike Evans, that contract is not going to work. Russell Gage's contract, that could work. That could definitely work. I would like to have Mike Evans. He was the original trade target we talked about, but the further we look into his contract, the further we look into how much he costs in terms of trade capital, and with the Buccaneers being a decent team this year, I think they'd be willing to trade Russell Gage over Mike Evans. So that's just my opinion, but who knows? Maybe it happens. Let's go here from Vlog Time saying, what do you think of Charles Omenihue? Well, I think he's a really, really top-level edge rusher. I think he's a guy who's going to come in and immediately show his effort and immediately show his presence on this defensive line. I'm hoping he provides a feudable attack on the left side of the defense. That's what I'm hoping here from Charles Omenihue in this upcoming week. Then Go Noodle Rock. Man, Go Noodle. Well, clap to you, man. We appreciate you. Happy that your mom is healthy and happy. Shout out Go Noodle and shout out your mom. We're really happy for you. And, man, praise the Lord.